Okay, let me just get my recording on here.
When Rosemary's ready, you're really the key person to.
Oh, probably to be key here. No, I'm ready.
All right, I'll give you the go ahead in just a sec. Let's see. You can close it when it pops up. It's trying to live stream, so just give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're good. We're good.
Okay, well, when don't we begin the meeting, called meeting to order at, I'm leaning back. I think it's like 3 after 4 or something like that. 4:00 something.
4:04.
And thank you all for attending. Here we are again. It just seems like it's happening quickly.
I know.
Yeah, right. So no public for comment. No, I don't have any communications this month. I don't know if anyone else does to share. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 17th meeting?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Take a moment just to look them over. So thank you for sending to us in advance.
The second was Catherine, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The minutes were extensive. Thank you.
Yes, they came out really good, Rosemary.
Yeah.
Just a point, I will do the same thing, Jen. I'll come in and do it like I did in the library. That worked much
That's
better.
fine. And you know what, just as a fun side note, you know, we're required to go through the software system to give you this big packet. But do you find that what I sent you this time around was a little easier to use
Yeah.
than the 25,000 pages you get with the pack?
Yeah.
I'll try to plan on doing it that way and just have the packet for, you know, when people are viewing it online. It's the same information with, you know, less paper. So
That was great. I just saw that Matthew was trying to log in.
oh, let me see. Sorry, I got.
He says image not functioning.
I will get him in
Having
here.
Carol coming and going.
Now Carl will be in his
Here's Matthew.
car.
Here we go. Matthew, are there?
Almost.
Make sure he's here.
There we go. Hi, gang.
Hello,
Hi
Matthew.
there.
There you are.
Now
Hello.
we gotta get
Carl back.
Carl. Are you there? I don't know if he needs to unmute or. Okay, there we go.
I did need to unmute. Okay. Yeah, I got dropped, but I'm back now for now. We'll see if it
I
stays
just
that way.
gotta pay attention to that attendees. Sorry about that. This. Okay.
All right. Well, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the June 17th meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
You need to ask for
Sorry, discussion. I'm sorry. Discussion.
discussion.
Right. Thank you. Go ahead, Hallie.
I don't have anything.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just following protocol. I'm a stickler for rules.
You are. Okay. Any
That somebody's on top of it.
additions, deletions, jabs in the side? Okay. All those in favor of approval, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, we have minutes. Thank you, Rosemary.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jennifer, you emailed us just statistics if you'd like to.
Yes,
Just show
yes.
us good
I don't
what-
know if yours got cut off, but at the very bottom, I put a little asterisk that said open for 9 days to the public.
Yes, I
So
see.
that's reflective here. So just so you know that's 9 days worth of data. And I wouldn't say the programming is a little bit different just because we've been doing programming through the month of June, you know, via Zoom and whatnot. But things like the number of library visits and, you know, the circulation would be reflective of the 9 days that we've been open. So, so I'm actually kind of pleased with the numbers considering it was basically not a week and 2 days. Because you got to think we're not still open. Well, prior to this past Saturday, we were not open Saturday. So this is just Monday through Friday. So a week and 2 days, we saw, you know, almost 800 people come in the doors. And the circulation statistics, I think are fairly well, considering we were almost at 0. So we're doing pretty well there. We were fortunate with the computer usage. So even though we're down computers, we started doing reservation system through our event keeper, which is actually kind of helpful because it tracks the data. So we don't have to walk around and take notes on, you know, basically who's using the computers. It's already logged into a computer system. So we were able to get that data. So 165 reservations. And when I say reservations, I don't mean they can reserve, you know, from home. When they come in, they have to ask for a computer and we log them in. So, so 165 is pretty good for 9 days, I think. Considering we only have 6, 7, 8, 9, we have 10 computers available.
Wow.
So not terrible. And we're seeing quite an uptick in computer usage as time is wearing on. Printing, we knew this was going to happen. Printing and faxing have been, even though it doesn't show faxing on the statistics, I mean, people are coming in droves with faxing, copying, and making prints. It's really interesting. And what we've decided too with the faxing is instead of using our self-service fax machine, we've been using our own fax machine in the back that staff uses, because we want to make sure it's like almost contactless. We don't want them using any of the fax machines. So we're doing it for them in the back. And it's proving to be much easier actually. But we're selling a lot of faxes. So did you have a question, Marie?
Yeah, I was gonna say, could that be because the taxes, was it July 5th, today, I think?
Yeah, yes, we've seen a
we're due
number
with
of
the additional
people.
file.
Yes. Yep, we've seen a lot of people come in actually asking for booklets, which we were out of the state ones a long time ago, but they've been asking for prints and things, so, or printing them themselves. So yes, they are coming in for tax related information. Google My Business has certainly taken a turn upwards. We took our temporary closure sign down off the Google page, and people are definitely finding us again. The good thing about the analytics, it shows an upward trend of, you know, people going back on and searching now that we're quote unquote open, even at limited status. So we're seeing a lot more searches on that end. What else? I think we're doing really well with our programming. In fact, you'll see a much different change come July because we're doing a lot of programming, all Zoom related, but we're producing more than ever. Items to the collection, I did want to mention, June is our slow time, even though we're still, we order in June. It's right before the fiscal year, so we do a stop order. So we can gear up for the billing that comes along with that. So, and then video services, if you notice from last year, the programs produced, we went from 18 to 55. So, and that's just the month of June. We're doing a lot, lots of programming. What else? Interlibrary loans, I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but we haven't been doing it because we were waiting for, you know, the delivery service to start up again. So we have been just sharing amongst the 4 CCON lib libraries, Waterford, Mystic, and Bill, and ourselves. So we haven't opened it statewide yet.
How have you been doing delivery, Jen?
So believe it or not, the state actually got on board fairly quickly. As soon as we opened on June 22nd, I'd say within the week, they were open for business. So they've been delivering and they've been doing it regularly. So we haven't had a problem with getting delivery to the libraries.
So are they bringing it directly or are they taking it back up to Middletown and sorting?
You know, I don't know, actually. I don't know if they're sorting, but I do know that we're getting delivery like we normally did. There's
Yeah,
no
because you have bins.
delay.
They don't have to sort because you have bins for each library. So that they
Yeah,
must just.
I believe they are. They must be because, you know, we're getting other things back from different places, even though we're
Yeah,
not
that's really cool.
participating. So yeah, they're very efficient, and our driver has a fob now to get into the building, so he can just help himself. The bins are all ready for him. So it's been really great. I have no complaints there. So delivery's still on track. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Be happy to answer anything.
Hearing none, you move into your report, Jennifer, whenever you're ready.
Okay, do you mind if I mix around a little bit? Because I think the old business probably, we talked about reviewing the opening like a week after we were open, but I don't want to say we were slow. We were slow on the floor, not slow with our normal pickup service. You know, we were getting the books ready. So I figured we'd wait a little bit to give you an update because there wasn't as much activity as we had anticipated. We did have a line the first day, which was nice, but people really were just coming in to pick up their items. They didn't really understand to what capacity we were open. But now that we're in, I believe, like almost going into, I guess, week 4, we've been pleasantly surprised. Everybody has worn their mask. Everybody has adhered to the hour, less than an hour time to be into the building. People are very cognizant of the social distancing. And we've just had a really good response. And people have been telling us how thrilled they are that, that the library is even open at all. So I think at this point, they're happy. A couple of things that, they were itching for if we would have, longer night hours or weekend. And I'm happy to report we just opened on Saturdays for a half day to start because we want to see what the traffic was going to be like. So we're open 10 to 1 on Saturdays now. And we'll continue that for a little while. I think this is going to be our new norm at least until I would think Labor Day, and then look to add on, maybe some hours until 7 or 8 o'clock, just going to see how that goes. But people have been happy about their services. So we may add 1 or 2 more computers. But again, we're just kind of in the thick of it. And we've been having our weekly meetings with the other, our sister libraries. And a lot of them started after us. So it was nice that we could, bus them around basically and say, go here, you can go here if you can't get a computer today. And people have been good about the response. So we're pretty happy about that. So that's, in a summary, how we're doing so far. I don't know if I've seen some of you come in and pick up books. So hopefully that's working for you. I don't know if, any thoughts on that end, but if you have any feedback, we'd be happy to hear them.
I've done that several times. It's worked like a charm. Really easy.
Great.
You just come in, grab and go.
Great.
Too.
Very
Yeah.
easy, very impressive.
Good. I will tell you too, is we are waiving fines until at least Labor Day because, the whole crux of being closed for so long and people still confused that, are you open? Are you not open? We don't want to cause any undue stress right now on looking at that. We just want people to return the materials and, we'll look to add that back in at a later date. We still are going to charge for damages and missing items, lost items, because those are things, if you lost it, hopefully you'll be willing to, pay. So we're going to keep that thought going. But we really want to help people out right now. So.
Again, I saw yesterday 3 or 4 people. The other time I was there, a couple of people reading at the 2 picnic tables. And I wondered if that's something that we can promote, that if if you enjoy the ambience of the library, being close by, be in the shade, could we get a couple more picnic tables from Public Works?
Yeah, actually I do have 2 more picnic tables that are supposed to go onto the, what do you call it? The children's activity room patio, which is accessible to the public. We waited to kind of see what, who was going to be at the library before we put them out. We weren't sure if we wanted people congregating, but we were looking to put those out on August 1st because they're brand new and they've got umbrellas, and we think people might want to sit and we can distance them enough that, people won't congregate too much. So we were going to put those out in August 1st.
I'm just thinking that as the traffic increases, and it will,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you hit the number you can have in the library, it'd be nice to have an overflow space where we can say, we're full, but please feel free to stay, go outside and read.
Sure. And we do also have benches outside in our garden area. We have 4 benches. I shouldn't say really benches. They're pretty nice, and people are more than welcome to go out there. So we can make what do you call it? Like a marketing on that, just telling people there's other spaces that they can go around the library and read. So yes, I see them heavily used. It is true. What else was going to say about that? And I will say the book drop is working out really well. That not the one outside, but inside. It's pretty important that we keep telling people to bring the items in, because what's happening is within the course of one day, we have about 3 big bins of books that we have to take the bin, move it to meeting rooms 1 and 2, offload all of the books so they can sit for 24 to 36 hours, and then replenish it with an empty bin. And we do it very frequently during the day, and that's only 10 to 6. So we think it's best right now. It gives us some control over knowing how long the books have been sitting and waiting, so we can clean them. So it's working out really well. Hopefully it's not any undue stress on people, but we're more than happy to help. Anybody that can't walk into the library, they can certainly call us and we can walk out and help them if there's a mobility issue. So
Related to the book return, Jennifer, don't give me I don't need a hard number, but about how would you gauge how much of the collection that was out in circulation when the library closed has returned? Is it?
We had 10,000 items out.
That's what I recall, is a huge number.
Yes. So that's why we're trying to get a lot of the bulk back in, which we're seeing tons returned.
Are you seeing like maybe half of that's returned or 2/3 returned or not?
I'd say maybe 1/3.
Okay. So I just wondered, do you see a need to do any kind of reminders of people? No, we are open now. Just to kind of, I don't know how you do prod them along, but.
I know, what's interesting is there's a lot of people, it's like almost, we put something on the digital board outside, we put something on GMTV, YouTube, in our constant contact, Facebook, now our Instagram account. It's all those people that don't use any of that. How to let them know,
Yeah, with like
Jen?
Mr. Press or
Yes.
those Groton papers, a little notice or.
I wonder if actually, who was talking? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question. Have you
Yes.
enabled the reminder system in Circ?
Yes.
So
You
people
mean that
get
they're-
emails that their books are due in 3 days or something. Will that help with
We
those?
just turned that back on a couple days ago. Yes. We
Just that
had
could be a
to,
reminder.
Yeah, we noticed on the reminder sheet, it said, you know, your stuff's coming due and something about how much they were going to be charged. So we had to take all of that off, just saying like,
Right.
you know, basically just return when you can, it's coming due. So yes, we just turned that back on last week.
So would that be just for things that have been taken out recently, or that bolus of stuff that was out during the closure?
That's a good question. I believe it's the stuff that's been checked out as of now. That's why we're waiving fines.
Yeah, to Marie's point, if you could somehow figure out how to get that out to everybody who had stuff while you were closed, just as a reminder that, oh yeah, I have library books and I could return.
I know, I wonder how that, I'd have to check with our system to see if we can set out a notice that way. Let me check on that. That's a good idea, actually.
Mhm.
If you turned your notices back on, Jen, wouldn't it automatically generate a notice to people who haven't brought their books back? To tell them at least that they're overdue?
You know, I don't know, because one of the things we were dealing with was we changed, because we kept changing the notice. We said they'll be due at this time, and then we changed it to say they'll be due in, you know, we did it 3 times. They were going to be due in May and then June and July. So I'll have to find out. I'm not sure. I know the new stuff definitely, but I'm not sure if it automatically goes back on.
Yeah, it
I
might
could
be
check on that.
of having already passed.
That's what I mean. I'm not sure, but I will say that that might be a good notice if we could figure that out. That might be the reminder to send people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've been toying with also using the people who only have phone listed as the way to contact them for overdues or whatnot. I know Kathleen, who's our CERC supervisor, she went on vacation this week, but she was going to look into seeing what that list looks like, because we could certainly, if it's, you know, not astronomical, we could certainly call those people, you know, because we have staff that could help out doing that.
If you call them, ask them for their email address while you're on the phone with them.
A lot of them don't have it, believe it or not. I'm like, please, we'll help you set one up.
Yeah, I had books out from before the closure, and I
Did
got
you
a
get one?
notification. I got a notification they were overdue, and then I was going to be charged.
Okay, that's the thing we
last
just
Wednesday.
changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So-
right.
so
So you
people
did
did
get
get a
something.
notice.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right, so that is
So it'd
working.
just be to remind the people that maybe the ones who don't have the phone. Well, yeah, we did fix that, Chuck. So there's no fines.
Whatever.
If you are sending out notices, does this give you an opportunity to put the library hours? We are open again and have the library hours at the bottom of that notice, so you can mark your hours as well.
Right. That's what I was thinking. That's what we're just, you know, considering, that if I can find a way how we can change that verbiage. I don't know where that comes from, but we can certainly try to add that to the notice.
But when the library sends out an email blast, like I got one today about a teen literature opportunity.
Right, right. I got
Mhm.
that.
How many people get that? Couldn't you just send an email blast out and say, you know, we're open, you can bring your books back between 10 and whatever, 5, 6. You know, you have to walk them in the building. I mean, and just send that to everybody, even if they don't have books or they do have books.
I think we did that with the constant contact, though. That's a sign up. That doesn't go to everybody.
Well, at least that would be a certain group of people, you know.
But I think we did send that out about our open hours. But you know what? It doesn't mean that we shouldn't do a secondary reminder, you know, because maybe somebody dumped it and didn't read it. So it was early on, so we could certainly send out another one.
Yeah, I mean, at least you hit
Constant
X
contact.
number of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't hurt. But I will look at that notice and see what's on there and what we can add for text, because we don't generate that from the library. That's what I have to check into. So I will look at that. That's a good idea. The other old business, I just GMTV received a like $32,000 grant to update all the cameras. in both the senior center and some pieces of the senior center and in the town annex. So Sean's underway putting all that together and ordering all that equipment. So he's got his hands full with a lot of things, a lot of projects going on in GMTV. So really happy that's happening.
That's right. Who funded the grant?
Yeah.
I should remember.
It's called PEG-PISA. It's through the state. It's one of it's the money that gets generated from when you get your bill.
Oh, okay.
You put the money in. Yes, and then you can apply for a grant, that has to do with the broadcasting for the local access. And so he was awarded $32,000, and I believe the city got received some funding as well to upgrade some of their equipment as well. So
cameras and what else?
Cameras essentially,
Cameras.
and some peripheral equipment. So going back up to library activities, we've got a lot of internal things happening, but most importantly, the outreach that we're doing. We just promoted, I don't know if you've seen the Get Outside posters that have been placed around, they've been placed strategically around town. And we've been doing short videos highlighting the area. Like Haley Farm was one video we did. So what we do is we highlight a really interesting place in Groton, and then we post this poster board that has take a selfie with our giraffe mascot Stretch. And it's really just to promote Groton, and because we couldn't do a lot of summer reading activities, we figured get people outside, get to know Groton, and enhance basically what the library is doing with all the town properties and nonprofits. We could make some great collaborations happen. So I'd highly suggest taking a look at some of the videos that are posted on the Groton YouTube channel, GMTV YouTube channel, because they're really fun. They did one at the Pequannock Walkway, which is right around the corner from us.
Yeah.
It's a Parks and Rec property, and it's really nice. We've had some really nice pictures sent to us about people walking there and showcasing their pictures. They're really beautiful. So people are contributing and participating in that. So we're really excited about that venture. And then I told you Saturday hours have returned, which was really slow last week. But we're anticipating, as people are starting to know we're open half days, we'll see more, people pick up and come in the building. Interlibrary loan, we suspended for a little bit, but we just received a notice from the state saying that, if you would like to continue participating and receiving funding, we get certain amount of money when we do the interlibrary loan service, that you want to start your service and soon. And because delivery is working, it just seems to make the most sense. We're going to start that next week. So that means Groton residents will be able to ask outside of our the 3 libraries, and ask people, if there was a book that only Hartford Public had, that we could submit that and see if it's available and get that for the Groton resident to have.
Are they just public libraries, or do we have access to university libraries as well in that system?
Yeah, some of those participate, and Matthew, I did check on Conn College, and unfortunately they do not participate in the interlibrary loan program. I don't know why. They participate with Wesleyan and another library, and I can't recall what it is, but it's just between their libraries. But that's something that they're more than welcome to participate. It's if they want to participate, because they're private. But there are universities. Go ahead.
You can check a book out of the Conn College Library if you have a Conn College Library card. So if you have a friend who works there who can check it out for you, or you can get a card I think it's $50 a year is the fee.
Yeah, yeah. I do know there's some universities that participate, like, believe it or not, Hartford Seminary and places
Right, I've
like
seen them on the list.
UConn. So there are a number of universities that do participate. So, yes.
So the best way is to call the library to talk to a staff member to arrange
That is
that.
correct.
We can't do it through, I don't think that's working.
No, not yet.
Okay.
We're kind of bummed about it because not that we mind doing the work, but what interlibrary loan basically means right now is we have to call or email the lending library because we're not sure, first of all, if they're participating right now because of COVID. And then if they say they are, we got to ask them if they're willing to lend. And if they say no, then we got to go to the next library and call or email them. And of course, it's a lot of waiting because you want to get the answer pretty quickly. But sometimes you have to wait until you get those responses. You're not going to get 5 of the same. You want to make sure you hear from that library. So eventually we'll get electronic, but that's eventually. Hopefully soon. And I did want to say, so Cutler Middle School and Westside Middle School have obviously shuttered their doors. They're looking, demolition is going to happen very soon. And so they had some excess furniture that they were, getting rid of. And so Michael and I went over there to see if there was anything that maybe we could utilize at the library. And we actually pulled quite a number of things out of there. Some newer tables, newer chairs. So we're going to be replacing a lot of our old things with some new things from the schools. So we're pretty happy about that. It's just we made sure we got enough that Parks and Rec could also take a look at some of the items that we took from the schools. But they cleared everything out, and the schools are ready to be demolished within the next couple days, I believe. So, so we'll have some new furniture. Always nice to have. Always nice that they think of us and called us. So that was kind. And then Story Walk. I did want to mention Story Walk. This is aside from the Get Outside with GPL program. Story Walk is something that was invented by in Vermont, one of the libraries up there. And basically, we take a book and we put it up in a format where you can read it outside. We just had one posted up outside the library, so you could walk and read the book. And Public Works just made us a new installation, and one that's more versatile that we can change up pretty quickly. And they're also very easy to move around, so we don't have to have it stationary at one location. We could bring it other places. So we're pretty excited about highlighting that because people can read books and they could be outside and you can walk and read. So that will be up pretty soon. So yes, Hallie.
Are the Story Walk books double-sided so they can go one way up and the other way back?
No, they're just one way. They're just one way. Yep.
All right.
So I think.
What
that-
age children
Yep.
are the books? They're for children, right?
For
What
now,
age-
yes.
What age
However,
are you creating these for?
well, I will tell you the ones that we just created, the installations, are children's. However, the One Book, One Region is going to be doing some installations on the One Book, One Region author, who's the poet, and those will be going up soon. There's like 4 locations, and Groton is getting one of them. So it'll be more, I don't want to say it's just for adults, but it's poetry. And they're considering Avery Point, the place where they're going to install it. But I'll give you updates on that because that hasn't been done yet. You had another question. Go ahead.
How old are the books for the children? Are they like for toddlers or school age kids, or what's the age range?
They have a couple different ones that we're going to change out. So one of them is more geared to younger. And then we have a couple, like the last one was probably for first grade.
Okay.
And then we're going to have other ones that have range of ages. So kids, they're not just, you know, for little ones.
Okay.
We have a little variety of things. So.
Does Avery Point get the use that it did? Did they still charge for parking? I just know when I go by the boat, it looks very empty. As
Does
opposed to
it?
used to be a, you know, it's just a beautiful park.
No, my husband and I have been going there, and there are a reasonable number of people that go because it's a great place to be socially distanced, but outside in a beautiful spot. We see quite a few people there.
Can you park as a visitor?
Yeah, I don't think they're charging because school's not in session.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think the reason to choose that was because the accessibility of, it's a beautiful place, like you said.
Oh, it is. It is.
So,
As long as you can
plus
park.
we told them, you know, yeah, I was actually surprised they didn't pick something more central in town, but I don't know, that's, you know, the university is, or Conn College is working with Betty Ann on that, on where the locations. They're putting one in Stonington, New London, and I can't think of the other location, but when I get a notification that they're actually going in, we'll publicize that and put that out. So, any other questions?
Should we? Oh, Marilyn?
What?
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Right. So we have some new business, and I just wanted to add to new business that before we hang up, we talk about whether to have an August meeting or not. But that's just, we'll just add it on to that.
Okay.
But why don't you go ahead with new business, the shredded, and then the policy.
Okay, yes. So August 8th is a Saturday, and we're going to have a shredded day. Chelsea Groton Bank, bless you,
Bless you.
Thank you.
is going to be doing that. And we're also going to have 2 census people there, as there's people there. They're going to social distance, of course, and chat with people if they have any questions about census, because right now we're trying to do the last push on the census promotion. You know, with COVID, it's changed everything, and census has been extended, but there's a number of places that have, you know, lower percentages than we think they should. One being Groton Long Point, believe it or not. But Liz Porter, who's our chairwoman of our census committee, is going to be going and filming the last push to really get people to understand why it's important, of course. And also, one tidbit that I didn't know is, if you, for example, Groton Long Point, if you're a person who lives there in your primary residence, you did the census at your primary residence, you still should go in and do the census and put, if you're in Groton Long Point, and put 0 as, you still have to participate in your secondary place of, you know, residence. Because it's basically telling people that, or the census, that there's no one that, you know, that you're not participating. And we want that participation, even if it says 0. So they're going to be coming around and doing knocking on doors, and that the enumerators, they're called, they're going to be coming around soon. But they're still trying to do the push of doing the email, the mail, and the phone calls. So
What's the new deadline?
The new deadline is October, I believe.
Okay.
October. So it'd be great if people can go in there, because we're actually just got the information today that we are above New London County average, and we're also above the national average, but we're still in the 65% range. Some tracks are in the 70s, but we're really trying to push that, get more money for the town.
You're on that committee, aren't you?
I am, yes.
So I have a crazy idea. I think the Democratic Town Committee and the Republican Town Committee should both be asked if when they do the phone calls that they're going to do during the election campaign, that they mention that both parties are doing this as a nonpartisan thing to get out and support our town. And I maybe you guys want to get in touch with the chairs of the two parties. That's a place where they should be able to cooperate without any problem.
No, I think that's a great idea. I mean, anything to push this. I mean, it's like we're in the throes of it, but when you hear that, you know, 29 for every person that doesn't take it, $2,900 is not
Per year.
available for your
Per year.
Yeah,
Per
for your
year.
community. It's mind blowing. Who knew, right?
The way I'd package it is for every person who doesn't sign up, we're going to have to offset that lost revenue and higher taxes. So
That's right.
frankly, I should think Republicans use their phone lists, the Democrats use their phone lists.
Well, I will certainly bring that up. Our next meeting is next week, so I will certainly talk to the chair and see what we can do, but any help
Jennifer?
is good. Yes.
If there's a script, you know, just a statement of what, I did not know that people who are not state residents, let's say that, and there's quite a few in both.
Right, of course.
That message needs to get to them, that they should double their census taking, and both do it in each state. Maybe if there's a script or a message that could be put on the president of Groton Long Point, to put it out through the email. They have a very robust email system. Mumford Cove has an email system. You could send it to me and I'll make sure it gets out to
Okay. I would love to.
Mumford Cove.
Well, I'm going to tell you what Liz, our chairperson, is planning on doing is she's filming with Sean in the next couple days. They're going out and they're going, because Groton Long Point is one particular place that they want to highlight. She's actually going to film right on the site, and then it's going to be broadcast. So I can get whatever script she's looking to, you know, put together for that. I can send that to you, and be able to link to that, you know, her video. So however, but I didn't realize they have an email system at Mumford Cove. They have.
We do have one in Mumford Cove. I'd say for Groton Long Point, they have an office, an association office right there at the casino. And I can just email you even the name of the
Yes.
office administrator, and she would be the one to just get it right out to the community, I think.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to have that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll
I
do
know
that.
she's tried to make some contacts over there and didn't get information back or something, but there's a real big push for that. So
Yeah, I'll send you her name and.
okay, that'd be great.
So you could send to me, you know, what you have, and we can get it out on the Mumford Cove email system.
Then you might also want to consider the possibility of sending that outreach to fraternal organizations like the Elks, the Lions, etc., each of which will have their own email list. So to send them a cover letter explaining the consequences for each person who doesn't sign it, and here's a script we hope you will send out to your membership.
Yes, that's a good idea. Okay. I know we have, the great thing is even though we have two separate, the city has one committee and the town has one committee, we've been working very well together. And there's a number of organizations like church groups, the base. We have a representative from a lot of these places, but believe it or not, I don't think we have Lions or Elks that I can recall. So it would be worth sending out some information.
There's also a clergy association. And the clergy, you know, I don't know if they would buy into it or not, but this is certainly not a issue that's going to raise a lot of hackles.
Yeah, right. I mean, it benefits us all.
It does.
That's the bottom line, you know. So, okay, I will definitely bring that up at the next meeting. Thank you. Good ideas. Last but not least is policy review. Going through some of our, I never really understood, we have in our policy book, we have one item about renewals. So in the past, we have always allowed somebody to renew once. So any material that they have, and this is of course not related, if somebody has something on reserve and somebody wants to renew an item, they cannot, because it has to go to the next person. However, if no one is waiting, they still only get one renewal. And so the proposal here is we want to be able to renew people's items at least twice, because it's another checkout. And I guess prior history has been, we wanted it on the shelf for people to maybe check out, you know, another person to check it out. But we're looking at circulation. I don't care if somebody takes it out for a second time. It's not really a big deal. So my question to you is, because you're policy reviewers, do you think it would be a problem having something renewed twice?
As someone who doesn't have enough time to finish my books in the allotted 6 weeks, I would love to be able to renew it again.
Jen, has that always been policy, or is that part of the Sissy Dynex?
No, it's actually just been part of our policy, renewing once.
Okay, because I
sisters
know
and
when
other-
I've borrowed from Bill, everything comes that says it can't be renewed, or you can only renew it once, and that was never our policy. You know, I had one woman who used to come in and say, well, it's an old book and nobody else is reading it. Why can't I keep it for 3 months?
Right, right. Well, I know it has to be something that we internally did, maybe as a group, because what people have done to do good customer service is if no one's waiting for it, what they do is they check it back in and then they check it back out. And that
Right.
seems ridiculous to me. It's like, just let the person have it. You know, I mean, if they're willing to come in or call us and say they'd like to renew it, they're obviously not stealing the item. So why not? You know?
But don't you allow that? You already allow that if somebody calls in and nobody's waiting. Because I know my husband
Right,
has
but
done that.
what we have to do is we have to check it back in and then check it back out. And this way,
Oh,
in the
that's stupid.
system, they'll be able to renew it either online or, you know, they don't have to
Major-
worry about getting a fine.
Yeah.
I
You have to have
Other
intervention.
states all have several options, several renewal times. I think you can renew them twice in,
Yeah.
libraries in New York and
Mhm.
Massachusetts.
And some do automatic renewals. They'll just keep they do it, it's in the computer system. I don't know if we're ready for that, but
Yeah.
you know, sometimes they auto renew.
That seems excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
we wanted to just be able to, when people are reading these big books or whatnot, it's just go ahead. It's another checkout for us. So
Yeah.
Yeah, beyond 2 times, I think that should be a perk if they want to join the Friends of the Library.
yeah.
Members of Friends of the Library, well, then that's a perk for them. They can renew it beyond 2 times.
Yeah, exactly. We got to figure if you got 2 times, that should be well enough. That's like 6 weeks. So, you know, at that point, you may want to purchase one.
I liked War and Peace so much, I kept reading it.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be for the renewals. That's what's on the table. And then the other thing would be with DVDs. We've noticed quite I would say somewhat of a dip in DVD rentals. But I will tell you that most people are watching, a lot of our circulation is the TV series. And, you know, people tell us, we've had a number of people ask us, how am I supposed to watch one season in 7 days? And yeah,
Binge watch.
they're like, I
like
gotta
everybody
binge
else.
watch this and I'm not home. And yeah, exactly. But believe it or not, all of our nonfiction is 3 weeks. So we figured maybe we should make the new DVDs 10 days. So that way those, you know, keep moving along. And then the rest of the DVDs, you know, the what do you call
Feature
it? I don't want to say
films?
the bestsellers, you know, the regular feature films.
Feature films.
Those could be 3 weeks, just like the nonfiction. That way people have the opportunity to, you know, watch them at length. The only, of course, change would be if somebody has something on reserve, then we wouldn't, extend that time beyond the 3 weeks. So I don't know if that is something, that's the other thing on the table.
That
We've
seems
got an-
reasonable to me. If somebody really wants something, they can just put it on reserve and then it'll come back in, what, 10 days?
Right to them, exactly. And then, so the new stuff would be the stuff that is, time sensitive. It's 10 days. So gives you a couple extra days, but the new stuff has to turn around faster than the old stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Do you need a motion or is this just recommendation?
Well, I wanted to present it first, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably do need a motion, but I wanted to present it first.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, with policy, it has to be, it can't be implemented at one meeting. Doesn't it take another meeting to?
Sure. I believe it does. That's why I wanted to present it before we made a decision, so.
I think we can, gosh, I should know.
Yeah, I think with policy, I have to present it in order for you to then
We
decide
have
the
a meeting
resolution.
a month to deliberate and then for the
Right.
final vote, maybe.
Yep. And we'd be fine with that. I mean, we still got to make sure the parameters work in the system and everything.
Yeah, I don't think the motion can be made and then seconded and then tabled to the next meeting when it's voted on.
But you call it a first reading. It passes as a first reading, and then you have the second reading to authorize it.
But we want to bring it back as
It doesn't become authorized until the second reading is approved.
Can you send us the text of the
Absolutely.
policy?
I can.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
That's a good idea.
I
Right,
figured first I'd present what it is and why we want to do it before we
Right,
don't make a
right,
decision.
right. We can vote to make it policy at this meeting. I think we have to do it wait to the next meeting. But this
Yes.
discussion,
Yeah.
So, okay, I will send you the part of the policy that has it.
Yeah, I'm just mindful that you were going to talk about whether or not we wanted an August meeting. So if we did not have a first reading today, then we would have the first reading in September, second reading in October. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine.
well, I think I could consider this meeting as the first reading.
Yeah.
Then a vote
Yeah.
on it.
Especially if I provide you with that page in the policy to show you what would be changed. I'll provide that to you.
We can send you our comments. We could send you our comments and you can sort of summarize it and rewrite it according to our recommendations. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
So what we're saying is that Jennifer will, either today or, well, not today, but, sometime this by the end of this week.
Yes,
You will
absolutely.
send us what you recommend the policy change to be,
Okay,
and then we will reply by email any changes that we would like to see. So it's going to be crafted in this first reading.
sure.
And then at the next meeting we have, someone will make a motion to approve
Sure.
at that time in a second, and then we can have discussion, which might make a little tweak or a change to it, and then vote. So,
Okay.
Well,
does that sound good to everybody?
it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
If we're all going to respond, then who's going to rewrite the policy
Jen.
for a vote next time?
Jennifer would
Jennifer
collect
would.
those responses.
Jennifer would then have to, like if I respond and say, I don't agree, I think it should be 11 days, and somebody else says it should be 13, how is she going to craft a policy that we can vote on next time?
Well, it's already in the policy. Maybe if we took a look at, if I send you that, then maybe the way that it's written out right now, it's already there. So it's all I would have to do is write a notation about what is being looked to be changed. So you just got to decide, make the motion on should it be changed?
Right, so that discussion, which is a really good point, Rosemary, will take place at the next meeting.
Yes.
And we will either vote up or vote down,
Or table it for another month if we need.
what people recommend.
Okay, I was just gonna
Yep.
say,
There's
Right, so-
nothing that's so demanding that this has to be voted like at all. It's just, it was something as we were going through, you know, checking out to people, it's like, this is taking more time than it should. Shouldn't we allow people to do more things? So there's nothing immediate with this.
It's not essential business we have to take care of, but.
It's not an emergency or anything.
okay.
So actually, Jennifer, if you would send us in the script, you know, the writing, the proposal that you make,
Okay.
you like us
Will
to
do.
consider, and then we can either respond by email or we can kind of, you know, we make our notes and next time we meet, we know what we want
Right.
Sure.
to discuss about it. And in that discussion, either we vote up or vote down.
That sounds good.
We craft it, you know, we approve it or we craft it together, or we have, you know, we have a motion that goes up and voted and either vote it goes or it doesn't. Yes, Hallie?
Are we meeting in August? Because the September meeting I have down as the joint meeting, and if it's
Yeah,
a joint
yeah.
meeting, we really can't. Well, I guess we could.
We always have our own board meeting as well, but
Yeah.
that's something else I wanted to ask, is that even on the table for a joint meeting? But-
Right, and
But let's
two of
talk
us
about-
would not be able to be there because Barbara and I are on another board that meets during the time of the joint meeting, which is at night.
Mhm.
Okay, we don't even know what day that joint, so
Okay.
let's, okay, so Jennifer, so let's just kind of
Yes.
move
I'll
forward.
get
You're
that
gonna
information.
send us that information,
Mhm.
okay? And now under, which I think is a great idea, in my own opinion,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
extend
yeah.
that the long period. So under new business, I'd like to add that we talk about, let's talk about the August and the September meetings.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you, Jennifer, do you feel you need the board to support you in August with a board meeting, or should we do what we typically do, is take the month of August off? And
I'd love to
With
tell
the-
you that it would be up to me, but the only thing that I would say is the only thing nice is to give you an update. So I mean, I could just give you an update in an email instead of having a meeting.
and if
You
we
know,
need
just
it,
saying
how we-
what's been happening, and if there's any, you know, if we decide to add another, you know, couple computers, or, you know, just basically what's going on during this COVID time, I could give you
I
an
think it'd be
update for
important to-
August.
It'd
then,
be
of
worth
course-
it to have a meeting.
you'd like to have,
I think it would be worth it. Even if it's just a short catch-up.
Yeah, because things have been changing rapidly, so who knows what next month will bring.
how do others feel about that?
I'm fine with having a meeting.
Yeah, me too.
Free?
I think it's good to stay caught up.
I'm afraid that the issue of school going back into session is still more of a question mark than most of us want to believe. So,
Mhm.
I'd say let's have a brief meeting so that we can deal with whatever presents itself.
Okay.
Was that a yes? I'm sorry, I heard it was kind of.
That was a
garbled.
yes, so we can deal with whatever presents itself.
Okay, so we'll keep the August 19th meeting on the table. We'll have the August 19th meeting. Okay.
Okay.
I hear brief brevity, but Jennifer, you know, we'll leave that to you.
No, I think it would be fine. I would love it.
Yeah,
Go down my calendar. Okay.
I'm curious about the statistics too. What's going to happen in the next 4 weeks? You know, how-
Right, because
Yeah.
I will tell you, there's going to be quite a, I don't want to say a change, but we're going to see higher numbers.
And
Okay.
this is an unusual year. It's not like we're all going on vacation in August.
I know we're
Yeah.
going.
We're here anyway.
It's true, absolutely. And I can tell you for September, you know, Mystic and Bill just opened up last week, and
Yeah.
they can't really have people in there. I mean, it's very limited. In fact, Mystic is doing a pass system right now of letting so many people in the building, just because of the way their close quarters are. So who knows, you know, having a joint board meeting, I don't know.
I think there's ever a year to suspend that. This is the year. But,
Yeah.
Hallie, how do you feel about it?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, physically, it will be next to impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Consider asking your colleagues if a joint Zoom meeting would be beneficial.
Oh.
Because we're the largest library, and I want to be supportive of them as well if they need something.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Typically, the joint meeting, Matthew, is social. We have an agenda. We all, we introduce ourselves. Then there might be a topic that we discuss that's common to all three boards.
Or education, or, right, it's a.
Yeah, it's just a topic. It's not our, so I don't know that supportive in that we don't still meet, but.
Well,
it's
I
a
will
different-
tell you, if anything's come out, I mean, there's been a lot of positives in the situation that we're in, but I have a weekly phone call with Wendy, Karen, and Roz, and sometimes even just Wendy and Karen, depending on if it's really Groton related. But we talk every week to ensure, not only support for each other, but what we can help with or what the customer is saying, because honestly, it's the Groton person. So, we're just trying to help each other out. We're even trying to help out, like Stonington, what they're doing. But I have weekly discussions. So if, we've been sharing information back and forth. And so if there's any issues, they bring it up and we talk about them. So they are being, we are being aware of what's happening with each other and helping each other out. So I don't know if that helps at all, but we do talk very often. So,
We get a consensus, a straw vote from the board. What are you thinking about the September meeting? Why don't we just kind of go around? Barb, or start with you?
Say, don't do it this year.
You mean the joint meeting?
Right, the joint, right. That's right, the September joint meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think we should do it either. I think it should just be us.
Rosemary?
I agree. I think, it would be difficult to have a speaker and have everybody participate. And without the food, no, I mean.
And the wine, right?
yeah.
Catherine?
I think it makes sense to skip it. I mean, there's no way we all are going to be in the same place for sure. So
Yeah.
let's put it off till next year.
Yeah. I don't know if Chuck, I don't see Chuck, but I don't know if he's.
Is there?
Chuck's here.
No, he's there.
Yeah. I think I'm neutral on the subject. So whatever the board feels is appropriate.
Sashi and Matthew, I know you're both kind of new to it. Do you have?
My sense was trust the board's decision and trust Jennifer that if something presents itself that would make that become urgent, she'll share that with us and we'll change our mind. But let's suspend it, and if Jen thinks we need it, she'll share it with you, Marie, and you guys will make a decision, and I'll support that.
And Sashi?
Yeah, I'm fine either way. I mean, I wasn't here last September, so.
Well, I think the meeting, if it was on schedule, it'd be Mystic Noise year to host.
I think so.
Yes.
And I think it might just be giving them a gift to say, we recommend you don't do it. We missed this, next year. But we look forward to having you host it in 2021. It's like all the trips and cruises and all that stuff. Just put it off a year.
And, always feel, if you are interested, because I'm getting this, we're going to continue, maybe not weekly discussions, but at least once a month, if not bi-weekly, we are going to continue to talk. So if there's anything you would like me to communicate per meeting about where they stand too, because again, our people that come to our library frequent the other ones as well. So they report on what's the activities that are happening up there too. So I can do a number of things. I can communicate that to you per meeting, or, if there's something urgent, I can bring it up at the next meetings.
You made one thing. I was just talking to a friend today, and since every library has their methods of letting in patrons and limits and stuff. I don't know if you are talking to your colleagues. One of my friends went into the Mystic Noank library and she was all equipped, mask and everything. And suddenly she heard a voice from behind almost yelling at her, "Where are you going?" Because she didn't understand the paddle system.
Paddle system?
In other words, they made her come back to the desk and she was given some kind of paddle with the number 2 on it.
Okay.
They were only allowing 6 people in the library.
Right, right.
Well, not being, I mean, she's typically a Groton patron, not a Mystic patron. She didn't understand that. So she was quite taken aback, and and then finally she got it that she was supposed to have stopped and picked up a paddle before she could proceed. So maybe you could just mention to your colleagues that maybe a little better messaging, entrance or something to let people know what that expectation is for people who aren't their typical users. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, just talking to Karen over at Mystic, they initially went with the paddle system because they weren't sure how many people they were going to have in their building, and because they're 2 floors and they're tighter than us, they went with that. But in the last conversation I had with Karen, she said that most likely they're going to do away with that because it's not a bad situation. They could allow people in. So you can tell if it is, your neighbor, your friend, they're looking at changing that. So, they do realize it's kind of annoying.
It was that she didn't understand. I was just saying.
Sure. But it may actually be going away by the end of the week.
Communicating their procedures. That was all.
I'll let her know, though. I'll let her know. Absolutely.
Okay, so to kind of recap, we're going to keep our August meeting and have a September meeting on most likely Zoom, unless there's a miraculous vaccine out there or something, but we just our own calendar meet each month.
Okay, sounds good.
Is there anything else under new business? Or?
No, I think that's it for me. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Anyone else?
Kudos to all of, to Jen and the staff and all libraries for figuring this out. It's just an enormous problem. So
it's been interesting.
Congratulations for making it work. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. It's 10 after 5, I think. So would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Who's the second? Matthew.
It's nice to see you all, and please feel free to reach out if there's anything, services or feedback, or until we meet again.
And Jennifer, reciprocal also, don't hesitate to call for, individuals on the board, or to say that we need a board, or I said, we serve as an advisory role, and we really, this is a time when we should step up and we are stepping up if
no, I appreciate all the advice and help and offerings, so thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Okay. Well, until August, for most of you, have a good rest, summer month, and keep in touch.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
When would be a good time for me to come and do the minutes?
Hold on one second. Let me just